Yo, 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 welcome to the fantasy pitch presented by Fantasy Phenom. I'm sorry, the payoff pitch presented by Fantasy Phenom. I'm Kyle, that's Mike, here to break down today's 5 game main slate, and it is ugly.
Yeah, beyond ugly. I don't really feel like there's much to feel confident about. We always talk about the variance in baseball. I think this is just one of those slates that is going to show you anything can happen, really. So a lot of really poor pitchers. So I think there's a lot of teams that you can look at as far as picking stacks from, in my opinion. I know there's definitely some chalk on this slate. I don't know. I think you can make the case that all of these pitchers can get blown up today.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyler Wilson, Kyle Kendrick, I believe this is definitely both these pitchers' first start of the year, correct?
I know Tyler Wilson's been playing out of the bullpen for Baltimore. I don't believe that this is his first start, yes, but I think he's been playing with the club with Baltimore some.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a chalky game. I think this is the game to stack. I mean, you have almost a 10-point implied total. You have wind blowing out to left, favoring righties.
There's no real rain concerns in this game where there is in others. Both these bats are coming to play. I agree. I think everybody's going to be all over this game.
And for good reason.
Yeah.
The only concern is obviously cold temperatures, 52 degrees, but where do you look here? Obviously, both these pitchers are not great.
No, both these pitchers aren't great. I think you just kind of stick with the hot players and try to find stacks on either side. I think Benintendi through Hanley makes sense to me as 2 through 4 on Boston. Obviously, that's an expensive stack, but you can make any really stack happen today with the pitchers. And then on the other side, I think 2 through 4 as well. Jones through Davis. I think that's really going to be the chalk today. I bet you those 6 players have the highest ownership on the slate.
Chris Davis is mad cheap on FanDuel. He's 3,300.
Yeah,
it's cheap for
what
he's been. Or I mean, that's cheap for what he can do. Not cheap for what he's done.
What he's been doing.
Yeah.
I think on DraftKings, Davis, he's right in line with the rest. It's the way it works on DraftKings is Freeman, Ramirez, Thames, Carpenter, Bruce, Davis. So, a little bit cheaper than you'd think, but
if there's a guy to get back on track against, I guess it's Kyle Kendrick, man.
Yeah, again, I like these 6 guys, those 2 3-man stacks. I'm just afraid that everybody's going to be on it just based on what else is on this slate.
Which isn't much.
Isn't much.
I think I like the righty bats from Boston. Obviously, you have wind blowing out to the left, meaning that favors their pool side. You have the short porch, or the green monster, I should say. Short porch isn't right, but I think there's. I mean, everyone is in play in this game, but I agree. I think I personally like Betts and Ramirez. I can get behind some Benintendi. I kind of like Bogarts too. I don't think anybody's on him, so I can go there. Machado's in my line. Adam Jones in my line. I found myself actually not playing Chris Davis, and that's because I'm playing Logan Morrison in this next game. But
yeah, I think with Bogarts, he's by far and away the highest priced shortstop on DraftKings, which it's going to take a lot of people off of him. Maybe trying to fit him in the stack, it'll work, but it doesn't really make sense to play $5K for Bogarts for what he's been doing, and for that reason, maybe I would want to play him. I think if I had to pick one-offs in that game, it would be obviously. I don't know. I'd probably try to feel out the ownership. I feel like Betts is going to be extremely high owned today, so maybe you go with there just in case he does go off. You don't want to get lost.
There's also not a very high-priced pitcher, so I think that the expensive bats will be some chalk.
Yeah, you can definitely get any stack that you want today. That's for sure.
All right, so we got Dan Straley, which is an interesting play, and Matt Andreezy.
Dreezy.
I find myself on Matt Andrees today. By default, not because there's a lot of good options. He's actually the cheapest pitcher on the slate. I looked at Dan Straley. I'm interested to see what his ownership comes out to be. I'm hearing a lot of talk on Adam Wainwright, so that'll be interesting to see kind of where he ends up. But Straley does have strikeout potential. We know the Rays have struggled versus righties recently. On the flip, though, the Marlins are struggling just as bad versus righties. So I think a contrarian play is Andreezy, especially on a day you don't have to pay down for pitcher.
No, I think you hit on the head. I think recently the Marlins have been really bad versus righties. I'm sure. I think I targeted them recently, actually, when they were in Pittsburgh. But I think what took me off Andreezy was the home runs he's given up this year and the hard contact this year. So maybe that's really not much to buy into, but I think that's why he didn't really make my player pool out of these 10 guys.
Does it surprise you that Tampa Bay is favored?
No, not really. I think they've been playing better. I think they're the better team overall. I don't think the Marlins are really thought to do much at all. I mean, they've got a couple good bats, and the rest is just terrible. So, I mean, again, I can get behind Andreezy. Again, the reason I was off 20% home run to fly ball rate this year and plus 40% hard contact. And that's just this season. So
yeah, not saying
maybe he rights the ship. He's 32% to lefties.
Not saying he's a good play. Don't take it that way. Pure GPP. I just it's kind of
there's potential there. Yeah, there's definitely potential there, man. I agree. He can strike some people out. I went to Straley for the strikeout numbers. Out of everybody on this slate, he has the highest K percentage this season. He also was missing the most bats out of any pitcher on the slate, which is weird to me. I don't really see him as a strikeout pitcher, but I guess he's making it happen this year.
Super fly ball pitcher, though.
Yep, super fly ball pitcher for his career. I think it's like 0.8 ground ball to flying ball. He hasn't given up. Actually, I don't know his home run numbers. His home run numbers right now, since 2015, have been right around 11% home run to fly ball. But the Rays, they strike out the most versus righties this season. They swing and miss the most versus righties this season, and Straley strikes out the most out of the people on the slate. So that's kind of where I just kind of landed on him for the strikeout upside. If this in fact he does pitch well today, he has strikeout upside.
See, I think Straley could get some ownership, and I like the lefty bats in Tampa. So I'm going to fade what I think could potentially be chalk and also stack against it. I like Logan Morrison, I like Kobe Rasmus, and I like Corey Dickerson. And Kobe Rasmus, I believe this is his first game back, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. It is.
We know what he's been capable of doing.
He's a home run or nothing guy.
Yep. So I'm gonna take a chance on him. He's 2,200 on FanDuel. Again, he's another guy that you're not going to see high ownership on, in my opinion, because people don't have to pay down today. So
yeah.
I like it. I'm on Colby Rasmus. I'm on our complete Ray stack. I'm pairing him with Andreezy in a GPP. So unfortunately, I can't get to Tim Beckham, but I do like Beckham as well.
On the flip side, man, I kind of feel the other way. So, I mean, I mentioned at the top, you can kind of go anywhere you want here, and wherever you're feeling. I kind of like Stanton and Justin Bour. If you're talking about for cheap, no one's going to want to go to Justin Bour. He's another home run or nothing guy, and we just talked about this guy's given up
home runs.
Ton of home runs this year, so no one's going to be on him, especially at first base. So somewhere I could go today for cheap, and I like Stanton as a one-off for the simple fact that
the potential's
there.
So it'll be interesting to see what comes of this game.
Agreed.
Milwaukee and St. Louis, so this game does have some initial rain concerns, 81%, 73% at game time, and then it starts to tail off. So it's looking like it should play more of a delay threat than a postpone. Again, I mentioned that I'm hearing Adam Wainwright's name quite a bit. He pitched well versus the Brewers earlier this year. There is no Ryan Braun in the lineup today, who Wainwright has done a pretty good job of quieting his bat in recent history.
Yeah. I like some Wainwright. Like you said, he did play well. The luck factors are in his advantage. If you look at 67% left on base and a 4.39 BABIP to start this season, that shows that he's getting very unlucky. And he did play well against the Brewers, like you said. Now, he's been pitching a ground ball, which is kind of his style. He does get hit hard, so the fact that he's getting hit hard on the ground and he's got a 4.39 BABIP shows that the balls are kind of finding the hole, but it could continue, I think. But with a team that likes to hit the ball in the air, I think this could be a good matchup for him, and we saw that. So I don't mind that. I do think I've heard a lot of him as well. But with the weather concerns and the fact that the Brewers can and have shown in numbers they're first in ISO versus righties, top 10 hard contact versus righties this season, although they do strike out a ton versus righties as well. So
Does it
playing against the Brewers for the time being is very high floor, low floor, high ceiling type of play.
See, here's what works in Wainwright's favor. Quite a few things. 24 mile per hour winds in, and a 52-degree game temp.
Yeah, no, again, that does work. So if you buy into the fact that these numbers show that he's been kind of getting lucky, and the Brewers kind of have been cooling off as well, so maybe those two things combine to make him a good play. Now, again, I don't know what I'm curious to see where people are going to. He seems to be the safest play on this slate. If you look at all the pitchers, to me, when I first looked at this slate, like didn't do any research, he was the guy that was like, okay, he seems like the play, right? So that to me feels like he's going to have some ownership.
What are your thoughts on the flip with Chase Anderson?
So again, Chase Anderson, I somewhat think is a contrarian play. Obviously, if people are going to be all over Wainwright, they're not going to be on Anderson because. But yeah, so he also played well against the flip side, against the Cardinals. He didn't give up a run in 6 innings, and in fact, he's played into the 7th or into the 6th inning every start in this season. So the fact that he played well against this team, he's only given up 1 home run all year long, and that's coming on 3 starts in Miller Park as well. So. That to me is pretty intriguing. He does not give up home run. He just played well against St. Louis. He's played into the 6th inning every start this year. That's kind of where I'm at. It's not a great play, obviously, but then again, where is a great play on this slate for the Brewers? So obviously the weather is a bit of a concern with your starting pitcher, especially if it's going to be a delay. But I think they want to make this happen. Obviously, these two guys were scheduled to start yesterday as well. So I think they want to make this start happen between the two guys. So I think they're pretty safe as far as the starting pitchers with the weather. But yeah, that's kind of all I got on Chase Anderson, man.
What's up?
Let's see. Versus righties, he's got a under 30% hard contact. I'm sorry, St. Louis versus righties have an under 30% hard contact rate as well. So. That's where I'm at today with Anderson. I think I like him, especially since I've been hearing Wainwright a lot. And people aren't going to play both of those pitchers, I don't think.
God damn it.
What the hell is that about?
The FedEx guy wanted to leave my neighbor's package at my house.
God. That would happen.
I was like, no. What did you say about Chase Anderson? Just show me. Actually, I'll just give my opinion real quick. All
right. It would be kind of funny because I said a lot.
I think that, he's obviously off to a really good start. If you believe in regression to his average, where he's been in his career, then you can expect him to come down to earth a little bit, but maybe he's turned the corner. I'm not opposed to the play at all. It's interesting that he's actually the most expensive player, or the most expensive pitcher on FanDuel.
Chase Anderson is?
Yeah, 8,400. Dan Straley's 83.
What? Yeah, he's 6,100 on DraftKings. Dan Straley is the most expensive pitcher on DraftKings. He's not even close to the most expensive pitcher on DraftKings. Have you seen the pricing?
No, I haven't.
Here, let me show you. Let me just explain this. So it goes Dan Straley, Zach Wheeler, Jaime Garcia, Miranda, Wainwright, Andresi, then Chase Anderson.
Interesting.
So
Chase Anderson is
maybe
the least expensive pitcher?
out of those guys, besides Kendrick Meyer and Wilson.
Okay.
That's interesting. I didn't really know there was that big of a price difference, so maybe he will get some ownership.
I don't know. I think on a slate where you'd really have, you can almost make whatever lineup you want. I mean, you can't just pack it with stars, but you can be really, really flexible in your lineup building when the most expensive pitcher is 8-4. People may jump onto that and just be like, "Oh, most expensive guy," you know. Some people,
Yeah, I don't know.
some people really correlate price with immediate performance, and I don't think that's the case. You find guys that automatically target the cheap.
He's not a big strikeout guy, dude. This guy tries to keep the ball on the ground. He's given up 1 home run all year. I told them. Played into the 6th inning every start this year.
Chase Anderson.
He, didn't give up a run to St. Louis last year, and St. Louis is below 30% hard contact versus righties so far this season.
Maybe he's changed something then, because his career stats indicate him as a fly ball
Not
pitcher.
good.
Yeah. So he's either
he will
something out, or he's going to regress to the mean.
No, if he's a fly ball pitcher in his career, he's a fly ball pitcher right now. What he's done this year will regress.
So it'll be interesting. I'll be interested to see what ownership he gets. Another game that has some more immediate rain concerns is New York and Atlanta. This looks like it has a definite chance of raining into the game, so either a prolonged delay or possible postponement. It's a little warmer weather, almost 70 degrees, but wind is blowing in directly from center as well. Zach Wheeler hasn't been bad this year at all. I think he's a guy you can look at. The only concern is obviously weather.
Obviously, yeah, that's the big one. I think you can look at Wheeler too. I chose to go Straley just because I felt like it was a no-brainer. People were going to be on Wheeler today, and I found that he'd been giving up a lot of hard contact recently to lefties.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, great strikeout pitcher, so there's got the upside, but it made me want to be contrarian and go away from the Red Sox-Orioles games to get that Enciarte Freeman 2-man stack in my lineup, and in that way also kind of double dipping against Freeman. So it's almost like a triple dip, fading. I mean, that's not against Wheeler.
Yeah. X says he is on Jaime Garcia.
Yeah, I think that's a good play too.
Mets struggle versus lefties, man. Struggle.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, look at their 3 outfielders are all lefty that dominate right-handed pitching. That's why they've been playing pretty well. But yeah, Jaime Garcia's he could be a good play today. I think. Let's see. You look at he strikes out 20% of lefties. He actually has a hard contact rate over the last 3 years of 22.3% versus lefties is what I found.
We have 24.8 on the screen, but yeah, similar. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, it's really good. So Mets can't hit lefties, and he's shown to dominate lefties. So that could be a good play. And the Mets are second in ISO this year versus lefties, which doesn't really make sense. They're actually top 10 in WOBA as well versus lefties as a team. So that could be reason to get off of.
Wilmer Flores is back to make that cleanup.
Yeah, it's an interesting play.
I think you can look there. I mean, we know that he's a cheap option at third. Personally, like I said, I'm on Manny Machado, so I didn't even consider it. But the Mets obviously did the best they could to stack righties in this lineup. They took out Curtis Granderson. You have Jay Bruce and Conforto that are the only 2 lefties now. Cabrera obviously will flip. Wilmer Flores, TJ Rivera is someone I think you can look at. So
yeah, I think Wilmer Flores. I mean, I think that's a pretty cool play. Him batting cleanup. I don't know. I kind of like that.
he's cheap too because he's been on the DL. So
yeah, but again, I'm all over this Enciarte Freeman 2-man stack versus Wheeler since I'm not playing him, and I know that everyone's going to be on this Boston Orioles game and is going to drive their ownership down a little bit. We all know what Enciarte has been doing lately and what Freeman can do against hard-throwing righties like Wheeler.
Enciarte is on another level right now, man. Do you think he's turned the corner, or do you think he's just got a hot streak going right now? Like, has he grown as a player?
He only had And I don't want to. He had less than 10 home runs all of last year,
That's what I'm saying.
and the year before that, and he has 5 this year.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, is he in a hot streak, or has he? Is he kind of growing as a player? I know he's still relatively young. I don't. He's not a prospect, but
it's only his 4th year in the I think it's his 4th. He's only had 2 full years in the majors. I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
Right, last year and the year before that with Arizona. So definitely still could be on the come up, given regular playing time. Obviously, he's been leading off in what's become a hitter's ballpark.
He's up to 3,800 on FanDuel in price.
Yeah, he's up on DraftKings up to 42 as well. So, I mean, just because of speed, power, upside.
Yeah. And then we got LA and Seattle. We don't have these lineups in yet. We should get them before lock. I have Taylor Motter projected again. I know he hasn't started the last 2 games. I would love for him to, but we'll see what happens there. And then Ariel Miranda, dude, is a guy that he's weird. Weird splits. So struggles versus lefties, but doesn't give up home runs, right? So high hard contact, low fly ball, low home run per 9. Versus righties, 214 average, 267 WOBA, but a 52% fly ball rate and 2.2 home runs per 9. Really,
yeah, it's weird how that. It's weird how that WOBA doesn't translate though. I imagine the ISO would, I guess. Yeah, I'm concerned, man. I just think Miranda's had a very up and down season so far. And we talked about Meyer, his first start against Toronto. Remember we thought about playing him, and they limited him. He didn't play bad. They actually took him out in the 4th inning because he had
people.
Yeah, he walked 4. He was 4 walks, 3 strikeouts, but he only gave up 2 hits and 2 runs. And I think they took him out just because his pitch count was up to 75 or 80, I think, in the 4th inning, and it was his first start kind of in the majors. So we'll see if maybe they give him an extended leash today. Maybe that helps. Either way, I think you can go after this guy. He's just like the other 2 guys in Boston. I mean, it's his 2nd start in the majors, so look at he has the K upside. We talked about that, but if he's gonna walk a ton and show that he's nervous or wild, I think you can make the case to stack Seattle today to pivot off of the Boston Orioles stack.
Yeah, I like it, especially if Motter doesn't play and Ben Gamel continues to. His splits will load in a second. I really like Gamel in this spot. I know his splits don't indicate it, right? But what he's done so far this year.
33 plate, yeah.
What he's done so far this year, pair him with Cano right there. You can go Cruz, you can go Seager, who's struggled. Seager has really struggled so far this year. There's some plays.
And Gamel was a Yankee for a while. He came up in the Yankee system. He's got power to the gaps. He's not really a big home run guy, but he's got a quick bat for sure.
Corey says he has some Meyer. Interesting. He says he likes his stuff if he can control it.
He does. He does have really good K upside, man.
Mike is on a Seattle stack. I like that. I'm also on a mini Seattle stack.
Yeah, that's what I'm at too. I have one-offs in that Boston Orioles game, but I'm not stacking there just because I know it's going to be chalk, and that's kind of where I'm going to go as my pivot is this 2 through 5, or if Motter plays, I really like that. I can get behind Segura as well.
Yeah. Okay, so give me if you have 3 pitchers, give me them.
Yeah, it's going to be Straley, Wainwright, and Anderson. I mean, again, Wainwright and Anderson in the same game, so I'm just going to have to go with whatever fits in my lineup, I think.
I think I go... So, Andrezi's my GPP play. I do like Wainwright, and I also like Straley. Actually, no. Straley I'm really torn on because I like him, but I like the Tampa lefties, so I think I would rather play Chase Anderson as well, just because of the conditions in that game. 24 miles per hour in, so yeah, I'll go those 3. But I'm on Andrezi today. That's my pitcher I'm running. I'm only running 1 line today. I don't like the slate, so.
Same. Now, I think the 2 pitchers in this Mets-Atlanta game are intriguing, man. I really think Jaime Garcia is going to get super low ownership because people are going to be on Wheeler too. I think Wheeler and Wainwright seem to be like the safest plays if you didn't know much about advanced statistics or.
I like Garcia, and I like Wheeler's K upside. I just worry about that game. I hope that it
True.
plays, and I hope there's no in-game delays. And if that's the case, and you get the full run from the pitchers, I love it.
Right. It's true. Either way, I think the bats are safe. I think, I think if you look at the percentages here, it's seemingly going to fade through the night. It's not like they're trying to get it in before the 5th innings,
Yeah, no, I agree.
So I think the bats would be somewhat safe. But the pitchers are somewhat concerning. Then again, I mean, where do the Mets have, man? Who could the Mets throw out there as a pitcher? So they're kind of limited in that sense.
Truth. Corey Garcia, Waino, Myers are his 3.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay, give me your 3 favorite stacks.
I'll pick one out of the Boston-Baltimore game, and I'll say I like Boston's 2 through 4 better than Baltimore's 2 through 4.
Okay.
Again, I'm not stacking those guys, but I think a lot of people are, and they want to know which way to go. So I'll just make that case. My stacks, again, I'm going Seattle 2 through 5. I think I have Cano and Seager. Obviously, Seager with Machado on this slate. Everybody on Machado. That's my pivot there at third base, and that's what kind of put me onto a Seattle stack because I was like, no one's going to be on Seager today, and everyone's on Machado at third base.
No one does. I think you're really super low on.
So that's where I'm at as far as the contrarian pivot. I'm going to Seattle, and then I like some. I know you went Tampa, so I'll go Miami. I like some Yelich through Bour.
Okay.
Those 3 outfielders with Bour.
So I got
even Rich Diet here. Derek Diet Rich.
Derek Dietrich.
I know. I'm just. He's got a rich diet,
Jesus. So my favorite stack is actually a Baltimore stack today. I like Machado, Jones. I can get behind some Chris Davis, maybe some Seth Smith. Not as on a Boston stack, but I do like a couple plays. I have some Bogarts. I have a line with Mookie Betts. Well, my line has Mookie Betts.
Right, so does mine.
And then I love a Tampa stack, so I have Colby Rasmus. I have Curtis. Goddamn, Corey Dickerson. That's his name. Corey Dickerson. I had to look up his name for a second. Corey Dickerson and Logan Morrison with Matt Andreezy as my pitcher. And then I like a Seattle stack of Cano, Cruz. I'm not as much on Seager, but I like Gamble if he plays. And then my elite one-off, I think, is Mike Trout today. I see, Miranda, it's home run or nothing, it seems like, to him versus righties, and Trout can obviously make him pay, so I'm on Miranda.
So you're going Trout over Betts?
Yes.
Yeah.
The price difference is $1,200 on FanDuel, but if I can afford Trout, yes.
They're the same price on DraftKings.
That makes it a little harder. I still go Trout, personally. I like what Trout has done for me recently. Betts has not really kick-started his year yet.
Truth. It's weird, man. I guess we're not really doing them any favors. Like I said Miami, you said Tampa, I said Boston, you said Baltimore. It's just one of those slate guys. I mean, I think another key thing to talk about today is catcher. We want to talk about catcher for a little bit because there's really not much to love at catcher. I think it's obviously going to be a punt here. I know before the slate we were discussing, what punts we liked. You want to go first?
Rene Rivera on New York. That's my guy.
It's $2,200 on DraftKings.
Same exact price.
Extremely cheap. He's got his last 2 games he's been in the lineup. He's posted double-digit fantasy points. So I like that call. It kind of really allows you to even further get whatever you want. I like Jet Bandy as well. Jet Bandy, obviously a platoon player. So that keeps his price somewhat low, and he's got 4 home runs on the season, batting over 300. I don't have any really deep stats in there, but against Wainwright as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I could get behind Rene Rivera as well. I think anywhere else that we could go, I think you can make the case for where is he at?
JT Realmuto. Yep.
Realmuto, yeah, he fits into that stack, batting right behind Justin Bour.
Can I throw out a fun fact real quick? So
I love fun facts.
You know who Lonzo Ball is, right?
Yeah, I know who Lonzo Ball is.
Just released his shoe. Well, it hasn't released yet, but the price. The regular ZO2 is what it's called, will be $495. You get an autographed one, which comes in a key-locked glass box with a floor mirror, LED lights, and an autograph from him himself for $995.
That renders me speechless. I safe to say I have no words. Oh my god.
I respect the hustle, man. I hope that someone buys his shoe. Because he only needs to sell about 15 of those to make a profit.
I was gonna say, I think dude thinks he's Kanye and hasn't even got drafted yet.
X says worst investment ever.
So is he saying you need to buy my shoes and never wear them?
Apparently, because you get them in a key-locked glass box.
Interesting. Seems like a strange marketing strategy.
Captain says we didn't say much about Kendrick today. Yeah, you can stack against him. Stack against
Kendrick.
Yeah, you don't. If you want to play him, I actually don't even. Is he on the FanDuel? Yeah, he is on FanDuel roster. Feel free.
Kyle Kendricks.
Kyle Kendrick. Don't get him confused.
Kendrick. Yeah, let's bring in some numbers on Kendrick. Why don't we? For your hold on. Kendrick. So I'll go back to 2014. I don't think I really need to go back that far, but we'll just do it just in case. Ah, man. Can't be good. Let's put it that way. Hold on. Maybe not. Alright. Strikeout percentage 13.5. That's bad. Hard contact 33.5. That's okay. Not good. Yeah, there's nothing really here to say play Kendrick.
No.
Sorry, I looked for you.
I just saw a quote, made me laugh. So these are the ZO2s. Someone said, what are they going to do when they get to the ZO6? Call them the Corvette kicks?
Maybe they'll come with a Corvette.
Jesus.
I would make the case for Meyer over Kendrick, for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're trying to go down there, Meyer's got upside.
Kendrick doesn't.
For strikeouts.
Kendrick doesn't have really any upside, but that means that he'll go off today, typically. Someone will play him, and they'll win a GPP with them, and that's just how it goes.
That's life. But yeah, so I guess to sum it up, Stanton, Trout, Betts, my three favorite outfield one-offs. I like Enciarte and Freeman as a two-man stack. I like the three-man in Baltimore, Seattle, and Boston. And then cheap one-offs. You mentioned Rasmus. I mentioned Bour. Catchers, Rivera, Bandy. It's kind of where we're at, right?
Yeah, I think you can look at Bandy as well, but he's expensive, so if you don't want to pay up.
Oh, he's pretty cheap on DraftKings.
Mike says, who gets ejected today in Boston? I'm sure one of the two pitchers will.
I don't know, man. I think Buck Showalter, or not, Buck Showalter's about primed and ready.
Kendrick
One bad call, that dude's head's about to pop off.
X said Kendrick Lamar may throw a strike before Kyle Kendrick today.
Well, damn, that was pretty harsh, man.
All right, well, I'm off to school. Got one of my midterms today. Bear with me in these next 2 weeks. Obviously, midterms and finals are upon us, well, upon me. So my time is spread thin, to say the least. So bear with me if I'm not as active in Slack as I usually am. And also, I just want to address something real quick. We had a little bit of a fiasco in Slack earlier. Don't even try. We're not trying to breed negativity. So there's a bunch of guys in there learning how to play that are asking questions, and we're not going to accept any chastising and putting people down. Like, giving opinions is awesome. We love it. That's what it's all about. But don't chastise and put people down, because all you're doing is breeding negativity, and it makes people not want to contribute to the conversation. And that's the exact opposite of what we're going for. We want everyone in Slack to be involved in the chat and ask questions and give their inputs and ask like, hey, am I on the right thing? What are you guys looking for? Things like that. So
yeah, it's about, this chat's about inviting new people to join. And there's a lot of people when they first start, they probably read through it before they really find their voice and chat. And so by being discriminatory or derogatory in any way, kind of just posting things that in that sense that are just kind of putting people down and on their opinions on their plays, it's just not going to be tolerated. We want a welcoming environment, so that's what we're aiming to provide.
So, all right, guys. Well, thank you very much again. Appreciate you as always watching the show. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. Give Theo something to do. Ask him some questions on Twitter. Send him a message. Say hi. Probably be the first one today to send him a message. So we will talk to you guys later. I'm sorry. Theo's phone.
Hi, Theo.
Theo's phone is dry.
You can send him your number too. You might enjoy it. He might chat you up late night.
It'll be the first number he's gotten in a couple weeks. So
I'm saying he might chat you up late night, dude.
All right, guys. Well, have a wonderful day. Appreciate it as always, and we'll see you in Slack.